Chinese President Xi Jinping is expected to meet his Russian counterpart in Beijing ahead of the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics scheduled for this evening. And for more on that, we're now joined by Sun Ye in Beijing. Sun Ye, hello there. First in-person meeting between the two presidents in more than 2 years. So what can we really expect?
Hi there, Dongning. Certainly it is a significant meeting, especially considering the timing. Now, President Putin is among the first heads of states to announce attendance for the Winter Games, which is opening, as you said, later today. And the trip comes, in President Putin's words, as Russia-China Comprehensive Strategic Partnership of Coordination enters a new era. And we have heard extensively from the Russian president in the last few days about the meeting, including from an interview with our mother group CMG, where Putin said of the bilateral relation, to quote again, has reached an unprecedented level and become a model of efficiency, responsibility, and aspiration for the future. Now, the meeting between the two presidents would build on that statement on what the future could bring for the two. Key issues for the Friday summit include not only bilateral but also regional and global ones. Still coming from Putin's interview with CMG, he has said that trade and economic ties had his special attention, where Putin anticipates development with China on financial, industrial, technological, and other arenas, including human resources, could be on the table. He also anticipates meeting the goal of increasing the bilateral trade volume to $200 billion a year, and we could be hearing more on other cooperation projects, including cooperation in lunar exploration and plans for a financial mechanism between the two. And Chinese State Councilor Wang Yi has said ahead of the meeting that China is also ready to work with Russia to deepen the time-honored friendship and comprehensive strategic coordination between the two countries. Dongning.
Thank you very much indeed. Sun Ye reporting from Beijing. And Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi says early achievements have been made in docking cooperation between the Belt and Road construction and Eurasian Economic Union construction. It made the comment in a meeting with Russia's top diplomat Sergei Lavrov in Beijing. Wang Yi said 2021 marked the 20th anniversary of the China-Russia Treaty of a Good Neighborliness and friendly cooperation, and China is willing to work more closely with Russia in connectivity and energy. He said the two sides should further align pandemic control measures to boost trade and ensure smooth personnel exchanges. Meanwhile, Lavrov said the high level of strategic cooperation between Russia and China is conducive to the stability of international relations. They also opposed politicization of sports and attempts to create confrontation in the Asia-Pacific. Well, over the years, cooperation between China and Russia is strong in politics, trade and energy. Now let's take a look at bilateral relations.
Chinese President Xi Jinping and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin have held a total of 37 meetings since 2013. The latest was a virtual meeting in December 2021, where the two leaders evaluated achievements made over time. Xi said China is willing to cooperate with Russia in various areas to facilitate the development of ties. And Putin said relations have reached a new level and the two countries have formed a new model of cooperation. Besides meetings, the two leaders have had frequent interactions over the years. They took China's high-speed rail, watched an ice hockey game, and celebrated birthdays together. Last year, on the occasion of the 20th anniversary of the signing of the China-Russia Treaty of Good Neighborliness and Friendly Cooperation, the two leaders decided to extend the treaty by another 5 years. Economic ties are also growing. Bilateral trade exceeded $140 billion in 2021, hitting a new record. Over 1,000 cooperation projects in scientific and technological innovation have been conducted. The two sides have deepened cooperation in the energy field, covering oil, gas, coal, electricity, and nuclear power. They have also worked together in COVID-19 response and vaccine research and production, and opposed the politicization of the pandemic. In defense, the two nations conducted a number of joint military drills in 2021. China and Russia have supported each other in sports events as well. In 2008, then Prime Minister Putin attended the opening ceremony of the Beijing Summer Olympics. In 2014, Chinese President Xi Jinping attended the opening ceremony of the Sochi Winter Olympics. That was the first time a Chinese president had attended such a major international sports event hosted in another country.
For some insight into bilateral ties, let's talk to Mr. Zhang Xin, an associate professor at the School of Politics and International Relations at the East China Normal University in Shanghai. Professor Zhang, welcome to Global Watch. Well, this, as we just heard, is the first in-person meeting between President Xi and Putin in more than 2 years. So how important is this meeting to bilateral ties, to situation, regional situation, and even global situation?
You're right. Neither leaders from China or Russia have made face-to-face contact or meeting with another foreign leader during the past two and a half years. So the sheer fact that President Putin and President Xi are to meet face-to-face itself is an important event by itself. And during this meeting, we're expecting to see a joint announcement after the meeting about the top leaders' new assessment, updated assessment of some of the key regional and global political and strategic new situation. So this is going to be a significant piece of a new announcement from the top leaders of the two big countries. Among the possible outcomes from this joint statement, as well as some new deals that are going to be signed after the top leaders meet. I particularly look forward to, first of all, a major breakthrough, a possible new pipeline project linking Russia to China. Secondly, the two leaders are very likely to make an announcement of how to coordinate the two sides' opinion or assessment about the basic concept of security. Russia's advocacy for its indivisible security and China's advocacy for the so-called holistic or comprehensive security. So this joint statement about how to understand, perceive, and how to implement policies related to this fundamental idea of security from both sides is going to be of significant importance to not only the two countries, but all countries in the world.
Indeed, well, the bilateral ties between the two giant powers are going to impact regional and global situation indeed. Let's break down the bilateral ties a bit. China and Russia have very close cooperation in energy, for instance. And the China-Russia East Route pipeline has delivered 15 billion cubic meters of Russian natural gas to China. Foreign Minister Wang Yi told Lavrov, as we heard, that China is ready to promote the whole industrial chain cooperation in energy. So what will all this bring to both countries?
With further development in the energy sector, Russia is likely to further its tie with the Chinese energy consumer market, which means a new alternative but more reliable source of demand in the energy sector, including both oil and natural gas. But potentially there will be further development from joint collaboration in the field of new green energy. Both countries have announced its carbon neutrality policy for 2050 or 2060. So I think the further collaboration between the two countries may benefit both for Russia as an energy supplier, in particular, how to better address the carbon neutrality policy in the next few decades. And for China, of course, the further expansion of its collaboration with Russia will be very helpful for China to increase its level of consumption of green energy, helping it to reach the carbon neutrality policy in the next few decades. Also for Russia, I think it's going to be instrumental for Russia's recent attempt to counter possible new sanctions against its energy sector levied by some of the Western countries.